Hey everybody, it's Brian. Before I did this Seahawks stuff full time, I worked as a manager and senior leader. So I know how lonely it can be to try to find someone you trust to talk through people issues, org issues, process issues as you try to lead an organization. Ryan Cleveland of RyanCleveland.com is someone I trust to have those conversations with. He specializes in working with CEOs and business owners, and you can get a complimentary free discovery session to see if it's a good fit for you. Just go to RyanCleveland.com to sign up and start now.
Hello and welcome to another victorious post-game show on the road for your 6-1 Seahawks on the road. It is bat shit crazy that this Seahawks team is 6-1 on the road, Jeff. What is going on?
That was one of the more peculiar games I've ever watched in my life.
I have a feeling I'm going to feel different about this game than every other human on the planet. But you go first. Jeff Simmons, at Real Jeff Simmons, double pod day with Jeff, man. We get pregame show, we do postgame show. What was your take on that game, my friend?
Two exact opposite ends of the spectrum. Like, I could not have been more encouraged by what I saw defensively, and I could not have been more. I couldn't think of an offensive performance that was more putrid than that. Once the run game went away, it made me sick to my stomach watching the offense. And I just had no idea what the weather was obviously horrible, and Gino was off all night. But, I felt like they ran in the second half every time they should throw, and they threw every time. There's a play in, the second half where it's, 3rd and 6, and if they get it, they pretty much clinch the game. And they throw to Charbonnet behind the line of scrimmage against 4 defenders. And so, every time I had to watch that offense, it was painful. But to have that kind of defensive performance where you're getting nothing from your offense and do it time and time again, and my God, Caleb Williams he made 2 of the most insane plays of the game, but he ran into so many sacks tonight.
Yeah, he did.
And so, it was cool that, Leonard Williams was awesome. Witherspoon was awesome. But it's just so hard to get past how bad the offense was. The Seahawks should have won that game. With any semblance of offense, it's 27-3 kind of game.
Yeah.
And I had to sit there and I was at my in-laws tonight, and they were just like, how do you watch this team? I'm like, it's not normally like this. They scored, 24, 27 last week? And I'm like,
yeah, they
look inept offensively.
Yeah. So all of that's so true. I'm not even going to argue it. This is not made up, this is my genuine, everyone in the press box was like, oh my God, this is the worst. Everyone's getting texts from family members and friends ha ha ha, you have to watch this game. Everyone was getting trolled. I enjoyed it, man. I was like, give me an effective run game and give me 7 sacks and give me a defense that yielded nothing over and over and over again. I'm not saying I want to see this every week, but you know what, man? There have been so many games the Seahawks should have won that they lost this year, and they should have won this game and they won it. So you know what? I will take it. I will take it. I will be happy about it. I think that this is, I really, really, really think people underestimate how hard it was to do this, to come and play this game 3 days after losing a heartbreaking game that really lost control of the playoffs that your whole team was geared up for, flying across country during holiday week. That is just not easy physically. Your quarterback is dealing with a knee injury that's not going to be better until probably the offseason. There's a million things about this that are hard. And all that mattered, the only thing that mattered to me in this game at all was, did they win? And they won. That's where I'm at. I told you, no one's going to agree with me that's where I'm at.
It's hard for me to get there because of how bad the offense was. And I get what you're saying, but like that's where I'm at two ends of the spectrum. Their defense was brilliant, and everyone's gonna say like the Bears are inept. To be as disciplined as they were, to take over the game as they were, and how good they were, like run fits, and just every time Caleb moved, they had guys. They had an awesome. They were a step ahead all day. We talked about this morning. The defensive line needs to take over. I thought Chenna was really good today. I thought Jaron Reed was good again. I thought Ernest Jones, his run fits were excellent all game. I thought he was really good. But it's just like the Ryan Grubb offense is just, it feels cooked. Like it feels like they, like once the run game went away in the second half, it felt like a first down was near impossible. Like DK makes that circus catch that put them in position at the 40 or something. And once that went away, like I don't know how many first downs they even had. Anytime they had the ball, I felt sick to my stomach because it just felt like it's so hard for them. Like they can't even get like a play action in the flat. When they do get a decent play, Farrell Brown fumbles the ball. And it was just like, it was so rough on offense. It feels like they're very broken. But again, I'm with you on the defense, man. That was, to do that, getting nothing from your offense for 4 quarters in a row is next to impossible.
Yeah, I agree. And I guess when I come back to it, I look at the offense and I see a running game that was good.
It was for good. For a half, it was.
But that's like football, man. Like they haven't had, like they end up with 122 yards or whatever it was rushing. That is a step forward. I know, like if you've watched me and listened to me, you know that I'm not just a Pollyanna. I'm not going to always just say positive things. That's just not how I roll. I coined the term post-shame show. So like I will tell you how it is when I feel that way. The most important thing for the rest of this season is not winning the division. It is not win totals. It is establishing an ability for this team to run the football, period. That is the most important thing. It's not even that they score points and the offense looks good. This team needs to figure out how to run block, how to commit to the run, and how to be effective with it. And I thought Kenny McIntosh ran well and hard today. I thought Zach Charbonnet ran well and hard today. And I thought the offensive line, for the most part, did a pretty good job in blocking it. And yes, it got stopped. But am I worried long-term about the Seahawks' ability to pass the ball with Geno Smith and DK Metcalf and JSN? No, I'm not. Honestly, that's not a big concern of mine long-term. The run game has been. And so, like, no, I'm not going to say this was a beautiful game and like, but if you don't see this as a step forward for the run game, I think that's being a little bit obstinate. Not you in particular, but I think that's just being annoyed that they scored 6 points.
Yeah, they came out of the gates incredible. Like that first drive where they just run, and then Geno messes up in the red zone. That was a beautiful drive. And really, the other field goal drive was heavily driven by the run again. And when McIntosh gets in the open field, he's explosive, man. And I can't believe I'm saying that, but I love the way Zach Charbonnet's playing.
Like, he's playing like the guy we thought he was.
To me, he's a better back right now than Walker. Walker's more explosive, more talented, but down to down, I think Charbonnet's a better back at this point. And it's shocking to say that because I was hating on him all year.
Yeah, you weren't alone.
No, but tonight's like anytime they got into like a third down, I just had no idea what they were trying to do. Like some of it was just sitting on short stuff. It just seems so like there was one play where they do the play action and it opens up something down the field. They use Noah Fanwell in a couple plays, but it just seems so broken of what they're trying to do and how hard it is to just generate a first down. And there's nothing downfield happening. No one's getting downfield. No one's open. It shouldn't be this hard with that kind of skill. I know Geno had trouble throwing the ball tonight in the rain. He was hurt. He looked hurt.
Yeah.
But the offense
on a short week, dude. Like I'm gonna stick with this because I really think that this is a very explainable situation, and like they literally just 4 days ago had 9 explosive passes against the best defense in the NFL in Minnesota. Yeah. Do we think that they like don't know how to do that anymore? That they're like bad at it? No, like that is a product of a quarterback who's playing with likely a knee injury that's probably he shouldn't be playing on, and playing on short rest in the rain. like against like Jalen Johnson's a damn good corner, and I thought their corners played well tonight, and I think that it was a growing pain kind of game for the offense where they're like, if we can crawl in a shell and just run the ball tonight, protect Geno as much as possible, and get out of here with a win, that's our formula. And I don't think it's something that you want to hang your hat on.
No,
but it worked. It worked, and now they get rest. Geno like miraculously did not get more injured in this game.
Yeah,
and they live to fight another day. So I think if people are coming to big conclusions about the offense based on this game, I would say, okay, it's the passing game that was terrible today, right?
yeah.
And the passing game has not been the problem. They're number 4 in the NFL in passing yards. That's not been the problem.
It feels so disjointed though. Like once the run game stops, they had nothing.
Sure.
And they don't. It just doesn't connect, and I just don't understand what they're trying to accomplish. And so, look, I made my points about Ryan Grubb clear for the last month or so now. Like,
yeah.
I just don't like watching this offense. They have too much talent to be this scattered all the time. I don't understand what they're trying to do, and I think some of the guys who really study their like a schematic approach are left scratching their head. I saw Albert Breer say in the middle of the game too that like the scheme has kind of been figured out around the league, which is. I don't know. They scored. They moved the ball pretty well against the Vikings against a pretty good scheme. But
yeah, exactly.
I just wish it just connected more. And
yeah,
I find the offense is just it feels random. It feels scattered. It feels I don't know what they're trying to do with like. There's times where it's just like get those guys the ball in space. Get Barner the ball in space. It shouldn't be that hard to pick up a couple yards. And it just seemed like there was a 3rd and 3 run in the second half where they were just this close to cutting it loose and they missed the block. The offensive line wasn't great tonight, wasn't a disaster, but every time they had the ball, I felt horrible in the second half. Horrible.
Yeah.
Michael Dixon had a good game after he but the Bears punter was their best player. That punter was awesome tonight. The guy pinned them deep like 6 times.
Yeah, there's another couple questionable decisions by Jalen Darden in this one. Punts that he decided to fair catch and whatever. But
speaking of questionable decisions, what were the Bears doing at the end? What was that?
I was like, what is happening? How is this? Like, I kept asking, like, why are they punting? Like
the punt and then the timeout?
Jeff, I'm spreading the conspiracy theory with no basis that the owner called down and said, "What the hell are you doing? You are going for this."
Yeah.
Like the fans were beside themselves, man. Like that was what in the, like who's ever watched a football game would have thought to punt in that situation?
There were so many plays. The punt was insane, but to call timeout right after when timeouts are like the whole thing, you're trying to set up a field goal, and then later in the drive they call another timeout. Yeah. And I remember like everyone with Matt Eberflus got fired for that Caleb Williams game on Thanksgiving where they botched the Matt Eberflus is no longer there and still the same problem. That was pathetic. That
was one of the most poorly coached games I've seen that I can remember. Like from the Bears, not overall for the Seahawks. I talk about like the offense. I mean, I talked to Leonard Williams just a little bit ago. He's like, I don't think I've ever played against an offense that ran that many screens. And then he's like, we started actually being able to read the body language of the offensive linemen when they were in their 2-point stances, but they'd kind of lean out like they were going to go for a screen, and we started being able to read it better. I mean, they just spanned screen. It was like a Madden football game or something where they thought they had a play to go to. That's the number 1 overall pick, man.
There was just some really bad plays from him. There's like a huge first down they pick up either in the third quarter, and the next play he takes like a 17-yard sack where he like runs directly backwards.
Yeah.
There's a play in the fourth quarter where like they're driving and he tries to spin, and it was like the worst Russell Wilson impression I've ever seen. And he spins right into Rayshon Jenkins, and they took so many bad sacks tonight. But then like Caleb makes those 2 insane plays in the last drive where like Boye has him dead to right and doesn't put his hand up, and he gets that pass to Dunze down the field and DJ Moore. But other than those 2 plays, Caleb looked like a chicken with his head cut off, but basically the whole game just running left, running right, and the Seahawks defensive line just ate those guys up. Like the broadcast wouldn't stop talking about how good their D tackle group looked, but my God, the Bears are inept. Oh my God.
It was pretty funny to watch them. It was kind of funny and sad to hear the fans and the press. I mean, like someone walked by at one point and they're like, "Welcome to Bears football." That's like, I mean, it was bad. And this is going to sound like me being contrarian again. And it's just on me being honest. I think the defensive performance was great. I don't think it was that impressive because I think the Bears offense basically just ran a bunch of the same plays. They never tried to threaten downfield. The offensive line, Jake Curhan, comes through with another
sleeper agent,
comes through the penalty to move him back. Didn't end up mattering, but like that left side of their line is atrocious. The quarterback takes sacks that are bad. They don't have a good run game. Like I think the thing was, people are gonna say, "Oh, the sacks were impressive." I actually think it was the run defense that won this game for the Seahawks because if the Bears had been able to even put some sort of credible run game together, they would have won this game.
Yeah, they would have scored some more points. And
yeah,
I thought Witherspoon was amazing tonight, though. Woo! The stuff he was doing, like shooting gaps in the run game, and there was a play like near the defensive goal line, and he was freaking. It was a bit of homecoming for him. He played in Illinois, but yeah, they would have won this game if they could run the ball because Geno was clearly injured. The first half for Geno was really rough. There was a sequence of events where he should have thrown that interception in the red zone. He misses JSN. That throw was, I don't know what he was doing there. Then there's the next drive where he steps on Charbonnet's foot, trying to just run her. And then he has JSN wide open on third down, like wide open. And he misses him by like 3 feet.
I don't know what happened there. I don't know if it's a wet ball or just like what.
And then there's one he can run for another first down and he hesitates. And I know he's injured, but like, oh. And the second half, they were just disjointed the whole, like they couldn't get anything going.
I feel like we got to hire a hypnotist for Geno, or we need to just train Sam Howell or Jaron Hall for the red zone. So we have a red zone quarterback. Because I like Geno, it's got to be in his head at this point, man. Like it's like those nervous ticks, like Chuck Knobloch at second base.
The yips.
He's got the yips, man. Like what was that throw? It was like, wait, no, like he was never open. It wasn't like he was open and.
Double covered.
Never open.
Double
covered.
Yeah. And that was such a good drive, too. Like, they just ran the ball down their throat.
Yeah.
And, like, a play-action pass or a shot to the end zone, any of that would have been, like, great. And it just – it's like they never recovered from that play.
Just run it every single play in the red zone. Run.
Yeah.
I don't – like, if you don't get it, fine. Run it. Every time.
Or
every
throw
time.
a Barner in the flat or something, like –
end arounds, bring in Charbonnet, run Wildcat, man. Like whatever. How JSN's got a good arm. We've seen that a couple times this year. But that was rough. That was really rough.
Well, luckily for Geno, it was the only time they were in the red zone the whole game other than that. So they didn't have to. They did not make it back to the Reds at the 20-yard line of the Bears the entire game.
No. Well, how far did the Bears get? What was the farthest they got?
There was a play where they threw the touchdown that got called back, but
right.
That was the closest. 13-yard line.
What do you think about Pharaoh Brown?
Oh,
dude,
it was
that was the season right there.
Oh yeah, they had 3 guys on him, and like, it feels like the Seahawks had that play happen to them way more than anyone else. Like it's happened to DK so many times. Just like go down, hit your knee on the ground. And they were in scoring range, and at that time, like a score would have just ended the game.
Yeah.
And well, lucky he was down by contact. That would have been a touchdown. Like, oh my God, that game was painful.
Rough.
It was painful. Their offense was painful. Like I haven't seen many games of offenses look that bad. And but the defense, like to hold them to 3 points, pretty incredible. Like I don't know what do you think John Schneider's thinking after that game? Like.
You know what? I think he's probably thinking something similar to me, which is thank God we won. But look, you knew Darryl Taylor was going to get a sack.
But he was invisible the entire game except for that one play.
First sack since week 1. You knew Jacob Martin was going to make a play. There was actually
Thomason screwed that
case
up.
in point. Noah Fant was wide open. Gino was throwing it right to him, and on a big third down, and
Olu didn't get his hands on him.
Olu,
if he just gets his hands on, he can't jump up. And
well, I think here's the thing, Jeff. It was rough. There's nothing you're gonna. I don't think you celebrate this. You just
survive in advance.
you take your ladle of gruel, and you say thank you, sir. You move down the line. You don't enjoy a single bite of it, but you've got enough nourishment to last you to the next time you need to play. And look, I love the fact the Seahawks matched their win total from last year in Mike McDonald's first season. I love the fact they're going to get a chance to make the games that matter this weekend. And if the Rams give them a chance, if the cards fall the cards win, but if the chips fall in the right way, I'm taking the Seahawks against the Rams. I still think the Seahawks are a better team than the Rams. I still think the Rams are frauds. And I think everybody that says the Rams can beat anybody in the playoffs,
they haven't watched them.
Don't know what they're talking about. I think the Rams are trash. And the fact that they've won these games in a row, so many of them are ugly, ugly games, man.
So
they look like this game.
It's funny. So the Rams 49ers game 2 weeks ago was basically this game. It was 12-6 with dropped interceptions. And everyone comes out of that game that night being like, the Rams can win any way possible. And if the Seahawks won the Vikings, maybe that would have been the take. But it was a lot like this game. It was 12-6. There was dropped interceptions everywhere. Both teams looked horrendous. Purdy was horrendous. Stafford was horrendous. The weather does matter in these spots, but yeah, I haven't understood the media's take on the Rams all year. It's like they're all friends with Sean McVay and
that's LA loving, man. I don't know.
But if you've watched the game against the Jets they had Sunday was just ugh. It was like this. It was awful.
It was.
And they had the Niners the week before. It was awful.
That was 12-6, and that was a Thursday night game. And how bad did the offenses look in that game? Do you tell me they looked a lot better?
No, it looked like this.
They looked like this. So everybody relax, man. Relax. Not you, but everybody.
Oh, God.
It's a Thursday night thing. I think it's the fact that the NFL schedules Thursday night games in week 17. I mean, they're making their money, but this is the end of a 17-game season. These guys' bodies are just beat to shreds, and to ask them to come out and travel on a holiday week. This wasn't even a trip down to Arizona on a short week. This is
cross country.
It's cross country, man. That's not easy. And so screw the NFL for making them do that, and good on the Seahawks for getting the win. I'm gonna stick with that because that's how I feel.
Yeah, and it wasn't just that. There were 2 games on Wednesday this week. So
those teams I think played the previous Saturday, right?
So same turnaround time.
Similar turnaround time. So I don't know. I will say this as we close. I've never liked Chicago when I've come here before. I've come here a few times before. Have not been a fan. I've enjoyed my time here, man. I haven't been here long. I walked around. I probably walked 7 miles today. Super walkable city. Great use of the waterfront. The architecture here is gorgeous.
Oh, you got to come in the summer and go on the architecture tour.
Yeah,
it's unreal.
It's amazing. I became a Chicago convert this trip. I'm a fan.
Yeah. Well, I wish you got to see a better offensive game, but you got to see a win.
I got to see a win, buddy. I got to see a win. Who knew that I was the lucky rabbit's foot for this team on the road? I told this to, I won't say who because I shouldn't, but I was talking to somebody with the Seahawks after the game, and I said, I need you to pull a string. It's the only thing I'm ever going to ask you as a favor. If the Seahawks win the division, I need you to ask the NFL to make it a road game. because I cannot go to another home game of this team and watch them blow it. I can't do it. I cannot do it. So let's win the division, and then let's petition to play on the road and keep it on the road the whole way.
Are you going to LA next week?
That's the plan. I have tickets. I have a hotel reservation. There's a small chance that maybe if it doesn't matter, I won't go. It depends on family stuff, but I'll probably go.
All right, so you get another road game to get to 7-1?
Yes. Hold on. Wait, Evan's in here? Evan, are you there?
Sir, can you hear me on the broadcast?
I can hear you.
Hey,
What's up?
I've got a really important question for you.
You're very loud. Take it down.
Okay, I'm sorry. I've got a really important question for you, Brian.
What's your question?
Who scored all the points for the Seattle Seahawks tonight?
Jason Myers, man.
Jason Myers. That Bears kicker, man, they weren't even willing to attempt. They didn't even consider. They didn't even fathom the potential of a 57-yard field goal. They were too scared.
You're not even willing to put your face on camera to say that. That's how much you're a fan of Jason Myers.
I just had to jump in, Brian, and say I love you and I respect your optimism, but the fact that you enjoyed that football game is the most insane thing I've ever heard in my entire life. I want you to know that. Insane.
I like Seahawks wins, man. What was that? Did you guys remember that Browns game with Whitehurst?
Yeah.
Years ago?
Of course.
That was worse. That was way worse.
This reminded me of that 6-6 game in Arizona. I don't remember what. Do you remember what year that was?
That must have been 2015
or
16.
Oh my God! I'll just tell you this, guys. I was
Jeff. Are you muted?
Yeah,
I think you're muted, Jeff.
Muted.
Or your mic came off.
I'll just tell you this, Brian. I was in a dive bar with some friends here in Arizona, and I was praying to God that this game would not go to overtime. I was praying to God.
I was the same way. I
was getting shit on by other people in the bar. I was apologizing to people. I was like, I'm so sorry you're spending your Thursday night watching this. I apologize.
I was the same way. I'm like, please, no overtime. I cannot take watching this offense anymore.
I'm not going to out any individuals, but I will say there is some chatter in the press box about man, they better not go to overtime. I got deadline. I got to get. Some people are flying out 6 a.m. And then there's other people who are like, man, can't wait to cover this game that's not going to matter next week. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe after 30 years of doing this, I would feel the same way. But good on the Seahawks, man. Let's winning season. Let's get our 9 wins. Let's go for 10 wins. Let's get our double digits next. Even if it doesn't matter for the playoffs, let's beat Sean McVay. Let's get that 10 wins. Let's take the division, put them on notice.
I mean,
that's what I want.
It's not impossible that the Cardinals could beat the Rams. It could happen.
I think the strength of victory thing isn't as crazy as I thought.
What's the details on that?
I don't have it in front of me, but I sent it to you guys. Especially this week, the Rams need 4 teams to win that I think are not going to win. So I think this week, I think there's a very good chance, even if the Rams win, that the strength of victory thing will still be open for the Seahawks. So they'll go into the game next week. It'll probably be the Saturday night game.
So do they need help again next week, or does it just matter if they get through this week?
No, it's going to be, because it's strength of victory. It's every game will count because the other teams can be winning next week too. But there's a way that they could clinch it this week, but I think they're not. And I think there's a decent chance. I think there's I want to say there's 6 games that matter this week, and the Rams need 3, and they need 4 of those 6 to go their way. I think the Seahawks, I think it might be the opposite. I think 4 of the 6 might go the Seahawks way. So we'll see. But guys, come on, man. Let's go.
Can you leave
6-1 on the road?
Can you leave Ryan Grubb in Chicago? Is that possible?
No, be nice. Be nice.
Evan, join in.
The thoughts I have on this podcast would get Brian's media credentials pulled if I vocalize them. So I will not be speaking.
Don't do it.
All right, I'm texting you later.
Well, I'm bummed that my special guest, I had him on the hook. I had him hooked 2 weeks ago. He circled the Thursday night game. He's like, I'll be able to do that one. And I knew after the 2 losses that he probably wriggled off the hook. And he ghosted me tonight. Would have been Evan, you would have been so excited. But it's all right.
Was it Jason Myers?
I'm not going to tell you who it was. I'm going to work on this guy. I'm going to get him back. It is a guy. I'm going to get him back maybe after the Seahawks win next week to win the division and go to the playoffs. Because, look, you guys sound like people that are cheering against that. Like, you're just done with the Seahawks. You don't want to watch them You don't want to watch them anymore. It's too hard for you. Oh, it's too hard. They're hard to watch. I don't like this. They won the game. Get over yourselves.
Hey, I'm celebrating the win, but I'm not going to pretend I'm not going to pretend like I enjoyed that game. Are you kidding me?
I hated
that. Was like me being like I received Jesus Christ lacerations for 4 hours straight. Are you kidding me?
Well,
what are you talking about?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like going to the dentist for 3 hours.
That was miserable. I was ordering beers around the clock. I was like, I need more. I can't do this sober. I can't do it.
I did. It was horrible. I watched with my in-laws.
I loved every sack. I loved every TFL. I love that Reek Woolen ended it with a pick to end Caleb Williams' interceptionless streak. That's all the Seahawks do. They ended Jared Goff's interceptionless streak. They ended Josh Allen's streak. They just do that, man. They pick up people off when they need to.
It felt like a Pete Carroll football game, and it gave me
in the worst way.
It did. It was kind of like reliving some trauma, to be quite honest with you.
PTSD?
PTSD. Can I tell you guys something real quick?
Yes.
It got awkward post-game. Awkward because there was a Bears media member or a Chicago media member who was asking every player on the podium, the rumors are that Pete Carroll might want to come back. What do you think of Pete Carroll? Do you think he could help the team? And every player was just glowing about Pete Carroll. He's the best. He absolutely, any team that got him would be lucky. He makes work not feel like work. And I'm sitting there next to ownership and I'm sure PRs listen to that. They're going, oh God. And the players, they love Pete Carroll and they should. I mean, who doesn't love Pete Carroll? But there was a little bit of, he's that, meaning that what we have is not that. There was a little bit of that. I don't think they're really throwing shade at Mike McDonald. But there wasn't a lot of, man, we're so lucky. We've got a great coach now. We had a great coach last year. It was just effusive praise of Pete Carroll. It was a little awkward.
I wish Evan could have seen that.
Yeah, it was a little awkward. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to let you go. Thanks for coming on, Evan. Always fun to hear you. And Jeff, man, double duty today. You're the hero.
That game was, I needed to talk to someone, but I think Evan said it well. You're pretty insane, but
I'm insane.
Yeah, you're insane.
I'm also insane because I'm taking the 8 a.m. flight out. It's past midnight here. I got to get back to the hotel. Yeah. I think I'm getting sick again. Freaking travel sucks, man. Holy crap.
Yeah.
What is it, man? Is this because I'm old, or has travel just gotten this bad?
It's gotten progressively worse. I really feel that way.
I gave you a layup there. I thought you were gonna swap me down with me just being old.
No, it's bad. It's bad.
No, it's gotten worse. The one thing, did you guys talk about canine absence tonight at all? Charbonnet?
Oh, tell me your thoughts. What did you think? Yeah, what did you think?
I'm really struggling, zooming out for a second with what feels like he's so unreliable from an injury perspective and just availability week to week. I obviously prefer him over Charbs, but
I don't know if I do.
That's not where Jeff
Stop
was
it.
earlier.
Stop
No.
it. Hey,
He
Jeff,
didn't pull a punch.
Jeff, it's been 3 weeks, Jeff. You are in the honeymoon phase. Okay.
I think Walker's way more talented, but he's never on the field, and I think Charbonnet is more complete right now.
If you could get a 4th round pick for Kenneth Walker, do you trade him?
Hell no.
Wait,
A
you gave
4th
two
round
different
pick?
answers. You just gave 2 different answers.
He's in the last year of his deal. Like, I'm not re-signing him. I'll go Sharbs and Kenny McIntosh.
No.
I would.
It's interesting.
It's
interesting.
You need to be with peace and love, Jeff. You need to be reminded of Charbonnet's runs without like a competent run blocking scheme earlier this season.
Oh no, but the hope is that they can create a competent run blocking scheme. But with the Seahawks, that's probably a little optimistic.
I think they've gotten it, man. I think they're on the way. I genuinely think the run game is on the way. The only thing that has held the run game back for the last 4 weeks has been Ryan Grubb not calling running plays.
Mm-hmm.
Why do they not run play action ever?
They don't.
They did.
They ran like 3 plays tonight.
No. That's not right. We're going to go back to the percentages. You're going to find that's not true. They ran a decent amount of play action today.
They got to do more of it, though. It's so good for their offense and how to use everyone. And
sure, 100%. Like, look, I'm not coming to defend Ryan Grubb. Like, I had a whole long conversation in the press box with a bunch of the guys, but like no one else is reporting this. I'm like the one who thinks he's gone.
I'll save that for another day.
No. I mean, like, there's people acknowledge some of the points I'm making, but they're not there. I think it's a foregone conclusion. We'll find out. We'll find out if my spidey senses are right. But look, he needs to run more play action. It's a disjointed offense. The under center game does not connect with the shotgun game well. When he calls pass plays on 3rd and short, it's not fooling anybody. And there's never
empty backfield.
There's never an easy throw to make. So like if you are going to run on pass on 3rd and short, at least scheme somebody open. It's not hard to get 3 yards if you figure out a way to scheme somebody open. So there's a ton of criticism there. At the same time, the run game's made progress. The blocking is pretty darn good. The holes are there. All the running backs are succeeding. That's another indication that they're making progress. It's not just one guy. Anybody that's running behind the line is getting yardage. That's good, man. That is like, if you can keep that going and build on it, and you get an off season to build up some strength for Olu and Alaumea and those guys, then you could have something. Like, so I don't know. I feel pretty good about what's going on that front. But give me the 6 points, man. Give me the 6 points. Give me the win. Give me the 7 sacks. Yeah, I'll take it all.
That is pure degeneracy, but I support it. All
right.
But can we just leave it off on this note? We are going to be the biggest freaking long-time diehard Kyler Murray fans on Saturday evening.
We are. Well, wait. Before you say leave it off, I think we have to say something. Is Josh Cashman the worst quarterback evaluator scout of all time? I mean, is it possible? Like, his whole take has been Caleb Williams is great and Kyler Murray is great. He's pretty quiet right about now.
You think he's in the chat? Do you think he's listening to this?
Look at this.
I love that. I love that I have this visual of him literally just turning on YouTube. And it's the first thing he hears.
I mean, am I wrong?
He's going to be sending that Kyler gif like every 5 minutes on
People
Saturday.
don't know that I've had to learn like the delete message functionality on both Twitter DMs and chat messages on iMessage, just so I don't have to see all these friggin' Kyler Murray gifs. I might send one on Saturday. It might happen.
Wow.
I'm gonna be DJ Dallas fan, Evan Brown fan, Who else is on the friggin' Cardinals?
LJ Collier.
I don't know.
LJ Collier.
LJ Collier, motherfuckers.
Yes.
Rumors.
Let's go.
I heard Evan's starting at left tackle on Saturday.
Shut up.
Yeah, no, Evan. I heard Evan starting at left tackle.
Evan
Hill.
Evan Hill. Gotcha. Sorry, I really screwed up that joke for you, my friend.
Oh, man. Is it in Arizona? Or is it in...
I think it's
No,
in
it's in
Arizona.
LA.
Oh, is it in
No,
LA?
it's in LA. Yeah, it's in LA. Yeah, it's in LA. It doesn't matter. LA is like a neutral field. LA is not.
I was going to tell Evan Hill to go to the game and like throw things at Stafford for a couple hours.
We gotta organize like a watch party Saturday night, right? Like we gotta like not we might necessarily go live, but I feel like we all gotta be on like FaceTime or something. Like
I'm gonna be locked
we gotta watch
in. I'm gonna be locked.
We gotta
in.
watch this. Come on.
I want next week to matter. That's all I want. Like, even if they lose next week, I just want it to matter.
Agreed.
No, I want it to matter, and I want them to win. And what I would say is, what I want is for them not to know if it's going to matter necessarily. It would be great if the Cards win, but if we could just get to next week without the strength of victory already being sewn up.
Mm-hmm.
If they win and then lose on the strength of victory tiebreaker, I can live with that. But I would like, to your point, I'd like the game to matter. I'd like that the Rams have to feel like they have to win, and I want us to beat them. That's what I want. Whatever else, I don't care. The playoffs, I care a little bit about, but I want the Rams to feel like they need to win, and I want us to choke the life out of them. That's what I want. And I want, if they go into the playoffs losing a game that they thought they needed to win, I'd like that. I'd like that a lot. All right, boys, I'm going to let you go. Folks, if you haven't given the show a like and click subscribe, what are you doing? Please do that. Please support in all the ways. Patreon.com/hawkblogger. Give the show a follow on TikTok and all the other places. I'm getting nasty texts from Josh Cashman right now. I see there's super chats. Let me see if I can get to these. I will do it. You know, it's hard on the phone. I'll tell you. It really does not let me do this. Sorry, guys. I cannot do the super chats. So apologies. I do see there's one here. Let's see if I can get that one on the screen. I can do that. Says, does Soldier Field feel like a place that needs replacement? Looks like a nice modern state, and why the rush to replace it? I like it. I think the setting here is so cool. It is, I don't know if you've never been here. So it's on the water near a big museum, and everybody like walks to the stadium. It's like a big long walk, and it's a beautiful walk, and it's cool. Like, it's a cool setting for sure, and I wouldn't want to move it. But from what I'm hearing, I think the reason that they want to build a new stadium is they want to own the land, and they want to build like a little, Bear City around it. Like, they want to basically own all the stuff around it. It's a money thing. It's not about doing what's best for the legacy of the franchise. It's doing what's best for the bottom line. And unfortunately, I'm all about capitalism. I have no problem with it. But I do feel like some of the decisions that the NFL has been making, especially on the ownership level, has been short-sighted and unnecessarily greedy. And they're turning off the lights as I start saying that. So it's a shame. Like, this is not like the Candlestick Park kind of situation for the 49ers where that was a total trash dump. This is a nice stadium. It's a nice stadium, nice place to play, and it's going to be a shame when and if they do move. All right, there go the lights. I will say goodbye, and I'll see you on the other side. Take care, y'all.
Hey, folks, this is Brian Nemhauser. Thanks for listening to the show. Hope you enjoyed it. Want you to know that Real Hawk Talk is available on all major podcast platforms. Go ahead and subscribe. Have all podcasts delivered directly to your phone after each and every show. And then go ahead and leave us a 5-star review. Helps us out, gets more people to the show. Then, if you haven't already done it, go to patreon.com/hawkblogger and subscribe for just $5 a month. Gets you immediate access to our Slack channel. Join hundreds of folks in that community to talk Seahawks about wins, losses, and all things in between. Not to mention become eligible to win giveaways for Seahawks tickets and get to ask questions of the Real Hawk Talk crew every week on the show. Finally, if you haven't gone to hawkblogger.com recently, head on over. Tail the Tape morning after articles are there every week. Hoping to see you there. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for supporting the show. Go Hawks.